On today's episode of eCommentary, we have an absolutely amazing episode coming up. I was browsing on LinkedIn the other day and came across a lady who made a post that said 42% of pizza-loving Danes hate Domino's. I think that is amazing and makes it exciting to come to work every day. So we got on the marketing manager of Domino's Denmark, Mila Hvilshøj. Mila, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'm so excited to hear about this project that you've got on and also your approach to marketing for Domino's in Denmark.
Thank you, Andy. Thanks for your time. Oh, and thank you for finding me on LinkedIn. Oh man, it's a journey. Just to give a little bit of a background, Domino's used to be run by an independent franchisee here in Denmark, and they managed to drive the brand completely into the ground. They didn't follow basic Domino's standards, let alone Danish legislation, and the company filed for bankruptcy. So us today have nothing to do with this former company. We are DPE, which is Domino's Pizza Enterprises. It's the world's biggest Domino's franchise. We have over 10 markets and 3,200 stores. So I think we kind of know what we're doing. So we entered the Danish market in 2019, starting from scratch. And we needed to build up this reputation again, because we really disappointed Danish customers. It was about achieving operational excellence. So we flew in the super team, the dream team from DPE Australia, which is where we're from. Our country manager, Kelly Taylor, and head of corporate stores, Pauline, who've been in the business for almost 3 decades. These are people that started as pizza makers and drivers and have just been in every aspect of the business. So you could say they are the quintessential operations experts. And we needed to prove to the Danish customers that we can deliver the Domino's promise. So for the last 3 years, it's all about achieving this 100% hygiene score, our fast delivery. We've been delivering pizza since the 60s, so we need to nail that one, and quality ingredients. So fast forward 3 years, and we can finally say, we're proud of what we're doing, but we need to face our past. And that's been really difficult. So this campaign is a realization that we need to own someone else's past, because it is our brand and it's our customers. So this campaign is kind of a look in the mirror, of facing the past. And even though it wasn't ours, we needed to be self-critical and just honest and humble. And so we gave ourselves 1 star. 1 star for our past, and we've apologized for it. So not only this LinkedIn post that you've seen on my profile, but it is plastered all over the country in out-of-home media, print and paid media, as well as TV all over the country. And I think if you've seen the TVC, it features our country manager. So it is Kelly who is the star of the show, because we felt the voice had to come from ours.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting because our office is a mix. We've got an international office, and we've got people from Australia, from the UK, and then we also have our Danish staff. And it was so divided, the conversation about this post. Like for me as a person who went to university in the UK, like Domino's was iconic. Like 2 for Tuesdays probably is the reason that I survived university in some form. We used to look forward to it because we could get 2 pizzas. If we were particularly hungry, we could eat 2. Sometimes we'd share them with someone else. And it was the same with the Australians, whereas the Danish side of the office, they had a different relationship with Domino's. And it was so interesting to see this is one brand, but the damage that had been done to the brand in Denmark, and the potential of the brand, based on its international reputation. So that it's so exciting to just kind of go into like a story where it's not all sunshine and roses. It's actually a rebuild. It's a focus on gaining customer trust in a market that absolutely love pizza.
Yeah.
And how did you come about the idea of the rebuilds? How did you decide on a 1-star review?
We invest in a lot of research. We do, focus groups. We've done mass qualitative studies, and every year we do our brand tracker analyses. And so we just know where we stand. And this is where this 42% of pizza-loving Danes hate Domino's, and that is today. And that hurts for someone who loves the brand. And like you said, you don't have that perception of Domino's from where you're from. And so giving this 1-star review was just really a reflection of this past, and us owning it and apologizing for it, but also making these promises that we've delivered, and we have proof points to say to our Danish customers, like, come back, you can trust us today. So that is the approach behind it. We want to clear the slate so we can talk about all the great things that we want to tell the customers about.
Yeah, and this whole approach of 1-star review on Trustpilot, to some brands, that would scare the hell out of, like, CEO, CMO. Like, people are actively running Slack channels to monitor the reviews that are coming in daily, and to actually say, do you know what? We give ourselves a 1-star review. Like, it's just a genius play. It's so smart, because it really delves into that psyche, like you said, of the Danish customer and the self, the humility in Denmark as a society. And like, it's so clever. And this is one thing that Domino's has always been good at, like internationally, like running great marketing campaigns. And this idea of anti-marketing, is this a strategy you're going to run with moving forward?
No, I think well, I hope not to have to do more anti-marketing, right? But it's about being honest. That is our approach for the future, is honest, and that it's a reflection of who we are, which is exactly the reason why Kelly is the face of this commercial. And you mentioned Trustpilot. As you notice in the campaign, we're actually using their logo as well. And they were completely on board, and they thought we were just as crazy as you think to give ourselves 1 star. Trustpilot is Danish, and it drives brand consideration very much so. So everyone knows what a Trustpilot review looks like visually, and that's why we were able to use that visual direction for it. But from a CEO and DPI in the US perspective, everyone was on board. I mean, won't say we're not scared, but everyone's been on board. I think that's a great thing about Domino's, is that we're not just one big giant corporation. We're a group of many franchisees. We're entrepreneurs, and this is being an entrepreneur. You have to sometimes take that risk.
And were you in the meetings where this whole concept has been put together with stakeholders? And
it was established within the Danish team, so within the marketing team, which is me and my team, and together with the Danish agency that we came across with this, and we pitched it to the internationals.
And what was the, like, once you've got the idea, because in marketing departments, there's millions of ideas that go around, and sometimes there's those ideas where you're like, ooh, shouldn't we? Like what was the environment like with that? And like, what was the point where you're just like, yeah, this is amazing, like let's run it?
I think the adrenaline was high in making the decision. I think for a business that's very commercially orientated, where it's about sales building, this was a complete different approach. So we're like, oh, should we have a deal in there? Absolutely not. We should not have a deal in there. We should tell the story as it is, right? What were the feelings? I mean, there were many, but I think until the day before launching the campaign, we always knew that there's always going to be detractors. I mean, even saints have haters, right? But I think it's just those that are pro Domino's are just going to be vindicated, and those that are neutral will move our way. And I think we have nothing to lose when you're honest.
Yeah, and it's that whole approach of like, you just want the opportunity to show to the consumer that, give us a chance. And if you pretend that everything is all rosy and sweep it
Yes.
under the carpet, you don't get that. So that I think that the clever part is that you identify, hey, this is how we were and this is how we are now.
Yes.
And then build that into your bigger strategy. And it's like, do you know what? I'll give them a try. And that's all you need in the start of a rebuild.
Yeah.
So that I think that it's just so clever. And I love these like smart campaigns that brands put together. I know that Oatly again, they've done a lot of like anti-marketing campaigns where they take out of home boards with like, I think one of them was, they did one where it was like, it's like milk, but made for humans. And it's just like, it's so good. It's so good because it's like, we identify, we're not this, we're something completely different, and give us a try. And it's that curiosity that creeps in with the consumer, that they want to try a product. And then of course, once you've got them in, then it's all the things that, the rebrand has stood for, the quality, the good ingredients, the great service and delivery that keeps them.
I think, to be honest, 3 years ago when we started this journey, this was before I started, but we came out with a campaign that tapped into all these promises that we were going to deliver. But it was too early. It didn't resonate. I mean, we hadn't filled up the CV and opened the stores and achieved those results yet. But now we are at a place where we can say, but we've done it. This is actually where we are. We have a track record. We have proof points. And that's why we're coming 3 years later into it. People think, oh, why didn't you do it from the start? Yeah, well, because people won't hear it until you've achieved it.
So timing is absolutely like everything with these campaigns. And and again, this to like, as a, can I call myself an outsider? Like someone who's not sort of grown up in Denmark, like when I think of Domino's, they've always been so good with their timing with campaigns. Everything has been super, super relevant. And again, it's a case of just like great marketing in play. So I'd love to kind of hear like where this goes. So you've made this big statement, which will generate a lot of PR coverage. It's going to resonate with a lot of the the target market, and hopefully drive pizza sales. But like, where do you go from here? And what's the next steps in the plan?
So in the last 3 years, we have been very focused on tactical and commercial type advertising. Now we're going to go down the brand road. After clearing the slate with this campaign, we just really want to tell people about this awesome things that we do, So step one is, thankfully at Domino's, you're very flexible with how you run your marketing in each of your in each of the countries that you're in. As long as you don't touch the logo, you can kind of do what you want, right? So we've developed, and we're rolling out with that now, a new visual identity that's simple, it's dynamic, and it's a bit more vibrant than some of the other markets, where we focus on pizza as an experience rather than just a commodity at a good price. And we've also developed a native tone of voice that's a bit more fresh and witty and authentic, but also kind of stays true to this American roots that we have, right? And so we've nailed that one, we feel. And now we're going to go into this brand direction. So we want to talk about the quality of our ingredients coming up. And, one creative campaign follows the other. I think you can call it a Domino's effect, right? Yeah, that was cheesy.
It's a double.
It's a double, right? And so, we want to tap into talking more about our quality. I think in the focus groups that we ran, people think that we're frozen pizza. We hand make our dough in every store. We use real mozzarella. We have almost no numbers or preservatives, no coloring, artificial, or and these are the things we want to talk to our customers about. That when they get something at Domino's, it's quality. and it's delivered fast and responsibly and at a value.
Yeah, and there's a big emphasis on quality within the Danish market. You know, that's something that the Danes are very particular about. You know, they like to shop organic produce. They like to know what's in their food. They like to know like with the star rating, the smiley faces at restaurants, they like to know this quality grade. And like, how has that come into your rebuild strategy?
Domino's is an affordable treat, and that's what we will always aim to be able to have something for everybody, right? I think tapping into health and organic is something that's, you know, we're working on. But I think now we need to nail that every ingredient that you're consuming is without a bad conscience in the terms of, you know, for your body, for preservatives and things like that. So that is the focus that we have in developing our menu, to having this clean menu, as you call it, with no E numbers and things. And those are things that we're working towards. But we're also working a lot within the sustainability and environment sphere. We continuously want to, you know, reduce our footprint. Animal welfare. We also have one of the biggest plant-based menus in Denmark for QSR. So, and another thing that's important to mention is that the menu in Denmark is tailored to Denmark. We have not taken a menu from another Domino's. Every market has their own menu. We have our own dough that you won't find in another store in another country. So we are delivering what the Danes are asking for.
I remember the first time I sat for pizza with some Danes, and this was an eye-opening experience for me. It was salad on a pizza. This was like the craziest thing. I'd never seen it before. And we went to a restaurant, someone ordered a margarita, and then they ordered a side salad. We were in Spain. And then they put the salad on the pizza. And I was like, what are you doing? And then it was like, that was pizza to Danes. They like the salad pizzas in some
we
places.
Don't have that, actually.
Not yet.
No, we don't have that, actually. But we're still coming to terms that would be normal.
Yeah. And then also the whole potato pizzas. Like, that's another thing in Denmark. I'm like pizza is pepperoni. It's cheese. It's,
yeah. I think one thing to also note that Domino's is not competing with your local gourmet pizza place. We are the affordable treat. We're not a gourmet experience, and we're not going to try to be, but we make amazing pizza, I would like to say.
Yeah. And how have you kind of adjusted the demographics that you're going after with the rebuild? Have you had to give up on certain demographics, or maybe focus less on certain demographics?
No, I would say, you know, most of our customers are between 24 and 34. That's the vast majority, and that has always been the case. And like I said before, haters will be haters. Hate is gonna hate, right? So we can't focus on trying to win that back, but we're winning back the neutrals, and that's where the focus is.
Yeah. And what about the students in Denmark?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we have students, and it's mainly the younger crowd, right?
Perfect. And with the marketing campaigns to the younger crowd, I think that idea of going with humor is incredible. You know, there's some really good ads in Denmark that target with humor. I think there's Bet Fematu Suit. They're a gambling company. I don't know if you've seen their ads with Francie Fumfensvanzik.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Like, it's humor, and you might not agree with the promotion of the product, but the advert really, you know, it makes you laugh and you remember the brand. And I think that going with that approach is just genius. You know, having an Australian that's basically bleeping out on an advert is just like amazing for that genre. You know, they're just going to watch it and be like, this is an entertaining ad. And the way that the campaigns are built is just perfect for that genre.
And I think I think for those who know Kelly, who is, our country manager who's in the TVC, that is an exact reflection of her personality. But it also is not her person to go on a TVC. I think this was crossing a lot of personal boundaries for her, but also goes to show how much she loves the brand that she works for, right? And she'll do anything to sell pizza. I'm her agent now.
She's taking bookings.
Yeah.
So at the start of the commercial, where the camera's filming and she's looking into the wrong camera, is that something that happened, or is it?
Well, it did happen. So the idea, as you see also in the TVC, that you see the film crew and things like that, was to show that this is not a real actor, right? To have these two layers. So director did purposely confuse her. So the confusion was real.
And the swearing was real.
Oh, that's always real.
Yeah. I work with Australians. I know how that is.
Yeah.
And with, going back to the conversation of like the strategy beyond this initial start point. So you've got your marketing strategy where you're focusing on the brand values about, entertainment, humor. There's also got to be a business strategy that runs parallel with this and with the growth, so that as you're building that mental availability, to use the marketing science jargon, then there's you've got to build this, but then also the product's got to be available. And there's a big growth project with Domino's in Denmark that's going on. Yes. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so currently we have 26 stores, and we've opened those within the last 3 years. And in the coming 8 years, so before 2030, we will have 100 stores across Denmark. And our long-term goal is to reach 150 stores. We are predominantly a delivery business. We're probably the first business in the world to have delivered food to someone's doorstep. We've done that since the 60s. So our goal is to be able to deliver to everybody's doorstep, right? Commercially thinking, Domino's is famous for delivering value, and we will continue to do so, just like your 2 for Tuesday is every Tuesday. But even when you're paying menu price, you're getting value for money.
Yeah, and a good pizza. That's the most important.
Exactly.
Most important part. And as you increase the number of boutiques within the marketing strategy, are you staying sort of countrywide, or do you start to narrow in on locations and the nuances in locations?
Yeah, so predominantly in the last 3 years, again, because of the size of our operation and the size of our little office, we consider ourselves a startup. Things have been very much now on a national basis, but now we are, with our new strategy, tapping more into local store marketing. So onboarding our store managers on how to think commercially in that sense of marketing, and therefore we will be the supporting department to support some local initiatives. We already do, with local clubs and games and things like that. But yes, we are gonna funnel it further down on a local level.
And that's quite exciting to see it go from like from the starting position of we've got to basically figure out how do we deal with this. For people that maybe don't have too much of the context, there was a documentary on the pizzas, and then rebuilding from that to then now we're increasing these stores. Like we need to sell pizza in stores and building that strategy right back up. Like, how long does it take for you to actually rebuild a brand? And how long have you planned for?
Oh man, if I could answer that, I would be as rich as Warren Buffett, right? He said, I think he said it takes 20 years to build an identity and only 5 to destroy it. But it requires for you to know the market, right? And every market is different. You have to invest in research. You have to be open and humble and proactive. It's a process in regaining trust. So I wouldn't say I have a number and a timeline, but I certainly hope that very soon, and if not at the end of the year, we have less brand hate. I'll tell you about it in a year.
And how are you tracking that? So if we like, one of my favorite topics, I guess, is like what can be tracked, what can't be tracked. Like, I'm guessing you have kind of metrics for tracking
Yep.
the hate or the heat.
Yeah, the hate. Yes, we do. So we do an annual brand tracker that only targets people who order takeaway pizza and all over Denmark, within the demographics of our customers. And they answer various questions, and it's been the same ones from day one to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples. And that is one of the questions focuses on how do you like Domino's? And then I think there are 5 different tiers, from very much so, like a lot of hate, or love it a lot. And hate and a little hate is combining to 42 at the moment.
Okay, so then if it can move,
if it can move to a little bit more love, that would be great. I mean, and many of the other metrics will also confirm that that hate comes from and merely from the former operation. Yeah. They only refer to the former scandals. So that's also confirmation to us, right? That in the last 3 years, they're still, thinking about this past and not necessarily where we are now, because they haven't given us that opportunity and won't, because of this past.
And what about neutrality? So is it better for Domino's to be hated by some, loved by some, or rather have kind of people that are maybe ambivalent?
Well, we need to build consideration, right?
Yeah.
So that is also something that we track within that brand tracker every year. So what we have seen since we started, it has nudged. It has definitely nudged, and it is nudging that it's the neutrals that are being converted to people that like it a little, right? So that is the goal, to get more neutrals to move our way.
Yeah, because you can work with neutrals.
Yeah.
They're
eating pizza. Again, we're targeting people in this survey is only people who have takeaway pizza.
Yeah, so you know that they like the category. It's just about getting them to love or like your pizza. And how much of the focus is going to be about kind of building as many kind of light buyers as possible, and how much of it is like focused on loyalty within Domino's?
Loyalty is very important. Building frequency. I mean, we all know that it's cheaper to keep current than get new, right? So yeah, always having a good deal to our loyal customers, and delivering it to them consistently and fast. And we have a great database that we're building up and communicating offers to them, and we see that they're redeeming, and their frequency is growing of those customers that we do have.
So once you've got them, you can keep them coming back.
Yeah, and I think another Domino's staples is that once in a blue moon we do run these crazy boost weeks, if you will, and that is of course to welcome new customers, to give us that chance.
How's it been? So this is something from as a business owner, one of the big challenges in Denmark is always recruitment. So if the brand has a reputation in terms of like recruiting, have you found that you kind of had to focus as well within marketing on like campaigns to actually get staffing?
I mean, the industry in general is facing staff shortage issues. So this it's not just an issue for us, it's an issue for absolutely everybody. So it is a challenge, but it's also been a challenge to get people to give us a chance in that way to work for us. But I think we're on a good track right now. But we're always looking for more employees. I mean, it is an industry with a higher turnover rate, and that's just how it goes. It's a challenge. That's no lie. Yeah,
and of course, I guess it's maybe different to other countries where when you're a student, you're completely flat broke. Here, there's a really good support system for the student workers. And one question also that I really, really want to dive into is, as the marketing manager at Domino's, when you have your meetings with your teams, your consultants, where's the focus? So you mentioned out of home, TVC, and like there's elements of digital, but like where are the big focuses? Like, where are you concentrating attention within the marketing department?
I would like to say everywhere, because it feels like we're focusing everywhere. The marketing department in our company is also a commercial department. So I not only look after getting the right message out, but also in the sphere of product development. So I invest a lot of time in getting the right product to our customers, and that takes a lot of, NPD, a lot of IT type of development. But one of my big priorities at the moment is getting our native app to Denmark. We currently do not have an app, and that is an important one. App drives loyalty, it drives frequency, and it's an easy way to send push notifications on great offers, which will be cheaper than other avenues that we're using at the moment, which are external.
That's so interesting. And like, there's some genius stuff that you can actually do with the app campaigns within marketing. So you've got the push notifications, and I think there's a guy, I don't know if you've seen him. He's a YouTuber in America called Ryan Trahan, and he does a lot of videos, and they're about like getting from A to B on $1 or a penny. And one of the things that he did a big series about getting across America to Mr. Beast, big YouTuber, on $1. And within this series, he used the McDonald's app, and basically it was utilizing the points within the app that you build up through purchases. And what I found myself doing when I was watching these YouTubes was like, every single video he was drinking a McDonald's ice latte, and then I was like, and every time he was like, oh, this is so good. And then the other day I just had this idea. I was like, I'm going to go and buy one to try it. And it was just like, it wasn't sponsored, but it was so genius how like a brand could hop on something like this, where they're using influencers to actually use their product in a journey. And then I was like, next thing you know, I'm through a drive-through ordering like an iced coffee off the back of it.
There you go.
Like there's so much cool stuff once you have like an app at your disposal. That it opens up storytelling as well, not just kind of, oh, this is our product, we need to push installs. It's actually like a really good vessel.
And I think another thing that we're focusing is on, okay, yes, you'll have this app, but what is our offering, right? We are at a time of recession. And I think we have that benefit that we actually offer great value. So we have to focus on telling people about this supreme value that they can get at Domino's. You can always get something under 50 kroner. You can get a 50 kroner pizza today if you want to. And we have to focus on that and let other people know that, yeah, you can still get your 100+ kroner pizza if you want that, right? So we have something for everybody, and having this deal proposition and offer proposition and these different layers so we can tap into more customers is important.
We've had the period where it's been pretty prosperous, and like everybody's kind of had disposable income, and there's not that many pizza places that are going to do offers under 50 kroner in Denmark. For people listening from internationally, if you want to buy a coffee and a croissant in Denmark, you probably got to set aside maybe like
10, almost.
Yeah, like 10-15 euros for that. So to be able to deliver pizzas at 50 kroner at good quality is a really, really, like, it's a decent offer. I think like a sandwich from the supermarket, it's probably 35. So that gives you some good context. Like, how is Domino's kind of anticipating the pinch? Or I don't think we're allowed to say recession yet.
No.
Like, again, they're changing the categories of the definitions of recessions at the moment. But like, how, again, within your marketing, are you going to adjust messaging according to this? Are you going to focus more on like a slightly lower price point item? Or like, how do you, as a marketing manager, how do you deal with like potential scenarios?
Oh, it's thankfully, Domino's is known to have offers. It's kind of how we run the show, right? We have deals, and it's what we do. We have a luxury, if we will, because that we are part of a big corporation. So we're able to have certain costs lower because we are a volume business. And thankfully that trickles down to the customer, right? So we're able to offer value. So yes, we will also be focusing on value. But another thing that's become more and more apparent to our customers is that they love customizability. We have the possibility to build your own pizza. You can do half and half. So convenience, customizability, and value are some of the things that we make sure that our customers know that we have.
Like, what is one thing that you really want to do within the marketing with Domino's? You probably got it on a mood board somewhere. And if it's top secret, just let me know. But like, there must be things where you're like, this is something I need to get a bit of wiggle room, but then this is something I really want to do.
Oh, there's so many. When our creative juices get running in the office, it's just, there's no end. But I think right now with this 1-star campaign, it's really the springboard to an amazing journey. And we can now go down this brand avenue and talk about our quality and our promises. That is my goal. That is something I'm so excited about. I'm so excited about the next campaign that we're going to run, and I hope you can stay tuned for October, November, where we can finally say, dude, this is Domino's. Give it a go.
If you could give advice, so if there's CMOs or founders out there listening to this and they find that their brand is in a situation where they need to rebuild brand, as someone who's kind of lived it, found a creative way to start to rectify it, like, what advice would you give to them?
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a brand turnaround expert just yet until I get that love up. But I think know your customer. I mean, I think that's a cliche, but invest in research. It's money well spent. And don't be afraid to be honest. Let go of the ego. That's
some really, really good advice there, Mila. Mila, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you, Andy.
For people who want to follow the Domino's journey, what are the best places to be looking? Of course, you're on LinkedIn, but if they want to follow, where can people follow it?
Of course, we're on LinkedIn, but I think I would hope that you want to subscribe to our newsletter and SMS, right? So at the bottom of Domino's DK, put your details in and you'll always be in the loop. But of course, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, we're everywhere.
And the creative campaigns are going to keep flowing from what I can gauge from this. Mila, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Andy.